Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the Sunday video where I look at the hottest Golden Age comics of the week. And these ones, some pretty cool ones, some really great ones. One of my favorite books is actually the first one on the list. It's number 10, is Phantom Witch Doctor number 1. This is from Avon, 1952. It's a Everett Raymond Kinsler cover. And it's just a cool, good girl slash pre-code horror cover. You got this beautiful girl in sort of like a gossamer dress, and this like voodoo guy behind her with like skulls for eyes. It's like skulls in his eyes. It's like little skulls. Really cool cover. This was a 3.0 that sold, and it sold for $268. And it was a buy it now, which is kind of surprising because that's actually a pretty good deal. Whoever picked it up, because the previous record for this book was set back in June of 2024 for $308. So somebody got basically $50 off, $40 off the previous sale, which kind of a nice deal. So there are 67 of these on the census, and 62 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 9 on the list is Superman number 61. This is from DC Comics, 1949. It's a Wayne Boring and Stan Key cover, or K. I think it's K. It's the first appearance of Kryptonite as well. Just a really cool book because it's a good girl art cover for Superman, where he has a blonde, redhead, and a brunette on the cover. So just he gets to choose from one of the three. I don't know. It's just a really interesting cover. It was a 6.5 that sold, and it sold for $867. That's actually way down, significantly down from the prior record for this book, which was set back in October of 2019, where it sold for $1,250. That was kind of a huge record back then. It had actually slipped down after that record because the last sale back in September of 2024 was $960. So this is actually still down from that previous sale, another 10%, and it's down 40 to 50% from its record high sale. So bit of a slow down spiral for this book. And it's such a key in first appearance. Kryptonite is kind of one of the things that we associate with Superman. There's 165 of these on the census, and 150 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 8 on the list is Phantom Lady number 14. This is from Fox Features Syndicate, 1947. It is a Matt Baker cover, classic cover. Just one of these beautiful ones where she's on the cover, full picture of her, which is really nice. He really shows off the Matt Baker art, and it's one where she's sailing. I don't know what to say, but very sexy cover. This was a 1.0 that sold, and it sold for $980. Now, the previous record for this book was set back in March of 2018 for $775. So it shows that Matt Baker stuff is still going strong, and these Phantom Lady books, very hot, very hot right now, and just continuing to go up in value. There are 67 of these on the census, and 60 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 7 on the list is Archie Comics number 50. This is from Archie, 1951. It is a Bob Montana cover, and it is considered to be one of the best good girl art covers in the Archie series. It's the classic Betty on the couch cover. It's just a classic innuendo plus cute good girl art cover. It is like, it's sort of the grail for good girl art collectors, this book. And this was a 3.0 that sold, and it sold for $1,200. That is actually significantly down. This book actually was one of those books that had done fairly well during COVID. And It sold for in August of 2022. It sold for $2,280 back then. So it had a massive sale back then. It was really a very pricey book back then. It was like $500 a point usually, or more. Um, so this one, you know, that was during the heights of COVID. It had slipped more recently, where in June of 2024, it had a $1,500 sale. So now it's even slid even more, which is kind of sad to see such a major book slide so much. But yeah, it's down quite significantly, down almost half from its prior record, and down 20% from its previous sales. So definitely a down book. There are 184 of these on the census, and 170 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 6 on the list is Batman number 92. This is from DC Comics 1955. It's a Win Mortimer cover, and it's the first appearance of Ace the Bat Hound. He's on the cover, which is cool. This is kind of an early Silver Age comic because it is a coded cover. It's just one of those early codes. But I figured it should be on the list because it is kind of a major book. And it's kind of on that border of golden to Silver Age. This was a 5.0 that sold, and it sold for $1,600. The previous record for this book was actually set back in September of 2024 for $1,920. So this book is also down. We're not doing so well on this list so far. Yeah, just another low sale. And this was another buy it now where somebody was willing to take a little bit of a loss. And I think, though, this book kind of had gone up fairly significantly because of the Super Pets movie. And now is kind of correcting because the movie didn't necessarily do that well. It's kind of a shame because, you know, it's a cool character. I like the Super Pets. There are 263 of these on the census, and 251 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 5 on the list is Diary of Horror number 1. This is from Avon, 1952. Another classic horror cover. So I would say like this and Phantom Witch Doctor and maybe a couple others kind of make the like the ones to chase for pre-code horror Avon comics. This one is definitely a classic cover though. You know, you get these two girls being basically dragged to the underworld. And it's actually a text story that appears inside which describes what's happening on the cover. Very interesting book. This was a 6.5 that sold, and it sold for $1,400, which ties the all-time record for this book, which was set back in September of 2019 for $1,400. Exact same price. Now, actually, this book had actually dropped a little bit in 2014, where it had 2 sales, and both of those sales had the same number. They both sold in 2014 in July, and October for $1,320. So it's up $80 from prior sale, and it's tied its all-time high. What can I say? There's 90 of these on the census, and 86 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 4 on the list is Tomb of Terror number 16. This is from Harvey Publications, 1954. It's a Lee Elias cover. And this is the last issue in the Tomb of Terror run. And Tomb of Terror run is quite significant. It has like a bunch of major Grail books in the run. And so this is the end of that era. But it just goes through a title change, actually. It becomes Thrills of Tomorrow. So this is a pretty cool cover. This was a 3.0 that sold, and it sold for $2,000. This is way up, actually, from the previous record, which was set back in April 2024 for $3,555. Now, there is some reason why this is not necessarily a huge sale, as it might appear, based on going up almost 40% from the prior record. because there was a 3.5 that sold in June of 2023 for $2,038. So this one is kind of in line with maybe some natural inflation and with that 3.5 sale. So kind of in line with what you would expect it to go for. There are 89 of these on the census, and 86 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 3 on the list is Batman number 27. This is from DC Comics, 1945. It's a Jack Burnley cover, and it's just a cool Christmas cover. It's always fun to see your favorite characters and Santa. That's just a thing. Santa has a big sack of toys on his shoulders, and you got Batman and Robin kind of helping him out. Classic Christmas cover. This was a 7.5 that sold, and it sold for $2,375. Now, the previous record for this book was set back in May of 2024 for $2,160. So up a couple $100 from the prior record, about 10%. Not too bad. It's like showing some growth. This is one of those books that normally you don't see like now. You normally see it hitting the market around Christmas time, and people get a little bit Christmassy, and I want to get a Christmas cover. That's the best time to sell it. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge to the person that sold it. You should have waited till Christmas. Would have gotten more money. But it did do well, set a new record. There are 280 of these on the census, and 248 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 2 on the list is A Fight Against Crime, number 20. This is a major book. This is from Story Comics, 1954. It is a classic decapitation cover where you have this woman's body on the ground and her head being lifted out of a manhole. Just a crazy decapitation cover. And it also has hanging panel inside. So lots of gruesome stuff that pre-code horror collectors would love. So this was a 5.0 that sold, 5.0, and it sold for $9,900. Now this is actually slightly down from its prior record, where in 2021 it sold for $10,500. So it's down about $600 from that prior record. However, it's way up from its prior sale. The most recent sale for this book was back in October of 2024, where it sold for $7,200. So it's up quite significantly from that most recent sale. There are 82 of these on the census, and 78 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 1 on the list is Batman number 1. I always try to put this on the list if there's a sale of it. It's just one of those books. It appears on the list quite often. I have to say that because it's just such a major book. And usually it commands big money whenever it sells. So let's see how this one performed. This is from DC Comics, 1940. It's a Bob Kane and Jerry Robinson cover. It's the first appearance of the Joker, and it's the first appearance of the Cat, who later becomes Catwoman. You don't actually see the Cat in the story. They just find a note where somebody's been robbed, and there's this note that says the Cat. But this is a major book, obviously, for Batman collectors. This was a 6.5 restored copy that sold for $64,500. Huge sale. Actually, I had watched this book for a while, and I was surprised that it sold. Wasn't that it was in my cart, so nobody stole it from my cart, though I'd love to have bought this one. This one had a previous record set back in June of 2021 for $75,000. So it is actually down significantly from that prior record. And but it's actually up from the last sale. The last sale was in June of 2024, where a 6.5 copy sold for a restored copy. These are all restored. Sold for $43,200. So it's up about 50% from the most recent sale, and down about 11,000 from the all-time record for this book. These Batman ones don't necessarily have the most consistent like path in terms of their going up in value, but they do sort of stay in that sort of vicinity of how much they would go for. If this was a blue label, now 64,000 is a big price, but if this was a blue label, it would have sold. There was a sale for Blue Label 6.5 back in September of 2021, where it sold for $576,000. So it just goes to show how much the restored label impacts the value of the book. That's why I always saw restored labels as a way to get into a book without having to pay those big prices. I'd rather pay $64,000 than $600,000. It's just math. It's one of those things. What do you think? Would you rather spend a lot more and get the blue label, or save a few dollars and get the purple label? I'd love to hear people's opinions on that one. There are 312 of these on the census, and 149 of them are universal blue labels. So that is this week's list. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.